All right, Tackles and Tinnies listeners, welcome back for another week. Gazzy, how are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Love the sound of that, Rye. Getting
Yeah,
your water
someone's got to
here.
do it.
Cheers.
Don't worry, mate. It's no bit of soft drink for tonight. Got school tomorrow. Still a tinny though. Still a
Yeah.
tinny. Uh, Gazzy,
Yeah.
what's news? How's your week been?
Week's been great. It's gone very quickly. Hey, work's been nice and busy. Been back to back at work, so I was enjoying that. Yeah, it's been going really quick. How about yours?
Mate, parent-teacher interviews last night. Pretty fried after a big week. So I got, 7 days to school holidays now, but who's counting? So I was
I can't
disappointed we
believe
have
it.
no TRL tonight either. But hey, the fans get an earlier recording, so I guess they can't.
Yeah. What a win. What a win.
All right, guys, let's jump straight into it. Physio Corner. What's happening this week?
A fair bit on Physio Corner. A couple of injuries. Now, notable injuries from the Panthers game last week against the Storm, but Nathan Cleary suffered a head injury early in the match. I don't know if you saw it, right, but it looked pretty bad. Like Jerome Hughes and Nathan Cleary collided midair,
Yep,
and then Cleary
definitely saw
came
that.
off second best, but I think he had hit his head. So undergoing that concussion protocol. So he's expected to miss at least one game. Yeah, this week he'll probably sit out. Well, he's
I
sitting out this week,
faded him at the start of the year for Nico Hines, so
which
I'm
is
I'm low key
interesting
happy.
because then
So
it's like
it's helped out me,
with
but we'll talk about
SuperCoach and tying that into
SuperCoach
it.
later. What else is happening around the
Do you
league,
hold
Gaz?
him or do you sell him? What's going on there? But what are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, pretty good. Well done.
Genius. True, true. Let's go into the Sharks. Braden Hamilton Uele. Hopefully I got that right. But potential MCL. He's getting scans at the moment. I'm not sure if we've heard back there. And then Talakai, ankle
He
injury.
has
He's
been
also getting
cleared. Recent
scans,
news. I think it
but
was yesterday
that one
afternoon,
was
so
a
that would have
hip
been
drop
Tuesday
tackle.
afternoon. Did get named on the
Moving on
team
to the
list, but
Tigers, we've got Gerald
yeah, we'll
Skelton
see how he
with
goes
a
at the
knee
end of the week.
injury
But yeah,
or knee
nothing
hamstring,
major,
and then
hopefully for him.
I'm not sure if he's been cleared yet, but yeah, fantastic.
Did you
And
see that
then
one in
Knights, we've
game,
got Dylan
Gazzy?
Lucas. He's out for about 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring
Did you see
for
that
another
one in game when
hamstring.
he did it?
Cowboys, we've got Valai or
Yeah, yeah.
Viliami
So he got
Valai.
pretty much poked in the eye, and
Poke
then
to the eye,
everyone was just
but
complaining
he
because
should
he
be
was
back.
just hanging on
He's
the
out for a
side of the
couple of
field.
weeks.
It was actually quite
Pardon?
severe because he actually get taken off and then tried coming back on later, but definitely wasn't
No,
playing
I
at
didn't
his
catch the
full
Cowboys
capacity.
game,
But
but
yeah, obviously,
what happened there?
potentially to miss out this week. But yeah, he has been named as well, like Skelton. Mate,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, those injuries are so sore. Just a poke in the eye
yeah, big 10-year-old
because you can kind
Paseka.
of
Yeah,
scrape the
yep,
the uh, the
Paseka. Yep,
lens, and then that just gets really itchy and irritated. But yeah, it's glad to hear that he's recovering. In the Sea Eagles, we've
he
got.
is absolutely an enforcer.
You're gonna have to help me out here. Is it Paseka? Paseka? Yeah, with the Achilles tear, so he's out likely for the whole season. So a big loss there. And then Tommy Turbo, he's returning. So looking like a good return, but from that hamstring tightness the other week. Moving on to the Storm, we got Jerome Hughes. So he had a hand fracture, and it was like the fourth metatarsal. So he's out for probably likely towards that 3-4 week mark.
Good
Your
news is
favorite
that he
Ryan
said
Pappenhausen, Pappy.
this was recent. I read this
He's
afternoon, or so this is
working on
Wednesday
his
for everyone
ankle.
watching.
Yeah,
He trained with the rehab group
not
this
sure what the
morning
latest
and
update
likely to
is
join
with
the full
NRL.com,
squad
but
either
likely
tomorrow or
probably a couple of
Friday.
weeks. Or has he been named?
More than likely not going to be kicking. So for those super coaches out there who picked up Pappenhausen or looking to pick up Pappy this week, more than likely not goal kicking, quoted by himself. Tyrone Wishart's looking to picking that up for Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, awesome. Because it's interesting because he's got a rehab coach, and then word got out that he's got a rehab coach, and everyone's like, "Oh no, like he's injured again." But apparently, it's just standard. Sometimes he just has this rehab coach with him during training days, and sometimes he just gets pulled aside and just
Yeah,
does his own kind of training
that
and
was
rehab
nasty.
that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to hear that it's on its healing and getting better. But yeah, hopefully he returns soon. And then Nick Meaney with a broken jaw. So that's about 5 to 8 weeks with a broken jaw, the fracture healing. Moving on to the Titans, Carter Gordon. He sore back. So scans
Yeah, not
revealing
too
a
sure. Yeah.
CSF, so cerebrospinal fluid leak, which sounds pretty bad, at least for someone his age, Carter Gordon being, I think,
Huge.
22, maybe 23.
Yep, huge.
So yeah, with that back injury, hopefully, with a bit of rehab, he'll be back soon. And then one notable
I'm
one for
hearing
me, and
mixed
this is a
things. I
big
don't know
loss
about
for the
you guys,
Titans,
but
right? But Keanu
potentially
Kinney with
full
a neck
season out.
injury. He was seeing a specialist in the last update, and they're probably going to have a look at his scans just to see whether he needs surgery because that's been on the cards.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, from what I heard, it was a
Wild.
disc bulge, and this was through NRL Physio.
Huge. Arguably
Which
their
is
best last year. Well, he got
terrible
voted
there.
their best player by the team. So yeah,
Yeah,
huge
it's
loss.
if he
And
does get
particularly with
surgery, it might be a
Carter
full
Gordon
season, which
and
yeah
Kieran
is quite tough
Foran both injured.
because
Not
he's a
ideal.
big
But
part of the
again, we'll go through the
Titans. So
Titans later on in
yeah,
the review
we'll
section.
have to see with that one.
Surprise.
Yeah, awesome. And then Warriors, we got RTS,
2 hands and 2
Roger,
feet, mate, by this
hamstring
stage.
injury, likely that 2 to 5 weeks. Yeah, so many hamstrings this season already. You can't even count it on one finger, 2 hands. But we got Bulldogs, Jacob Carraz. He's got a hip issue, likely return round 7. And then there's Berto and Kikau as well, both during that same game last round, and then targeting for a round 7 return. And then into the Rabbits, we've got Johnston. He is coming back from his Achilles rupture, which is amazing.
Yep, I've heard even up to a
That'll
month,
be a
which
good
is
one
hectic.
to look out for this week. Campbell Graham, he was back, but now is sitting on the sidelines again with I believe it was a calf strain, but he's likely 1 to 2 weeks.
Huge for Trell. So,
And
guys, I
then
think we should
Mitchell
go over a couple of notable
is-
names there and a couple of injuries. Again, we've been banging on hamstrings for the past,
Latrell Mitchell
3 weeks now.
back for
Again,
next round.
Is it the loading? Is it
Which
the
is good.
overtraining? Is it the muscle mass? Is it everything in between? What can team physios do to look at sort of minimizing the risk? Because obviously we can't really reduce the loading in terms of the game to game or week to week. Is it just like some guys who are more susceptible are going to sort of reduce their training load, or what can we do, Gaz?
Yeah. So if I had a NRL, if Tina was in front of me or Tommy Turbo was in front of me, first of all, hello, good sir. What I would say is it's no fault of their own. Like, it's not their fault. It's probably not something that they're doing. I would say like a big risk factor for a hamstring injury would be like if they've done it beforehand. So like number one risk factor would be like their previous injury history. So, if you've done your hamstring once before, let's say like you were, under 12s, Burleigh Bears, that type of thing, you did it once then, like just in the future, the likelihood of it happening again is higher. So that's number one. Number two would be probably like genetics. Like if you've, genetically predisposed, or like if your mum or dad played sport and had a lot of hamstring injuries as well, or soft tissue injuries, or kind of that tendon ligamentous injuries, that would also contribute to that risk of more of a hamstring tear or strain. But probably a mixture of those two. But it's like, what can you do about it? And it's
so some
really
of our
loading up
younger
through the
audience,
hamstring.
guys, who are
So
in
like
that
your
16 to 21-year-old bracket, who are
rehab, your strength
going through
training
the
in the
reps, and
gym,
they're doing so much training, not only through
that type of thing
school,
to really
but through
buffer
club,
up
and then they
the,
might be doing
tendon.
OzTag on the side. Like, they're doing so much running, and again, the loading, as you're being mentioning. What's some advice you could give to our younger audience who might not have that hamstring injury yet, but again, due to all their loading and intense regimented exercise, what could we do or what some advice can we give them to sort of avoid that happening to them?
Yeah, I love that question. The best advice would be like running's great. The amount of activity, like you're setting yourself up for the future type of thing. Like cardio is great for your heart. You're going to have like a better VO2 max, like your body's going to be able to utilize that oxygen and everything. So the biggest thing is with that as well to do on top of the cardio to do like strength training. So let's say for your runners, for example, you're training for a marathon. What I tell my marathon runners would be like, you've got, you run on long runs, you do like 20, 30 Ks on a Sunday, which is crazy kilometers, right? You do like a tempo run on Monday, which is like a 5K, and then 2 days later you do like 10K. just the sheer amount of volume and the turnover with your legs. What you also want to do is strengthen. So get into the gym and do 2 to 3 times a week of that functional fitness. It doesn't have to be just gym. It can be kind of that CrossFit style where you're, running, hopping, strengthening. My favorite's deadlift. So like deadlift, if there was
Be more
any
looking like a
exercise
stiff-legged deadlift
in the
or a
book
generic
to do to
deadlift,
help strengthen,
like an
I would
RDL
choose a
or more of
deadlift
a
because it's
generic.
such a great compound movement. So going through your hips, hamstrings,
Yep.
glutes, quads.
Yep.
It's yeah, it's a great exercise. What would be probably like a conventional deadlift or like a hex bar deadlift would be great.
Yep.
RDLs are
And with
great
these
as
hamstrings as
well,
well, and again,
but
this
I
is
feel like
more
RDLs
helping
would
me than
just
anyone
target
else.
your
I think I'm more
hamstrings a bit
interested.
more.
Would weak glutes
Whereas like a
and tight
deadlift
hips be a
would
factor as well in
do
this
more
reoccurrence
than
of the
the one
injuries?
muscle, so like multi muscles. Yeah, weak glutes, tight hips. I guess some people or some physios really like look into it in terms of the biomechanics. Like if you've got tight hip flexors, it can kind of pull your pelvis like anteriorly. Most of the time though, like if you're that healthy population, your muscles are very strong, so they should, in terms of biomechanically, be pretty good.
Carry it back in motion.
But yeah, with those, it's like it's hard because everyone's different. So it's like with that, the caveat to that is like see your physiotherapist because they can assess your muscles, your glutes and your
So
hamstrings
hamstrings,
and kind of
interesting. Alex Johnson.
yeah.
So we talked about
Yeah,
sort
back
of
in motion,
last
Burley
or past
Waters.
couple of weeks with
Shout out.
Campbell
Look
Graham.
for Gary and
What can we
Toad
look at
20
now with Alex
20 off.
Johnson? He's an outside back. He needs his explosive power. He needs his speed. He needs his change of direction. I thought he was coming back mid-year, but quite early in the season at round 5. How's Alex Johnson at an advanced?
Okay, I think we've lost Ryan. Hopefully he'll be back, but I will wait for Ryan to return. Ryan, come back.
Gaz, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Don't know what happened there. Gazzy, can you hear me, mate? Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Ryan, come back. Hello. Hopefully this makes the bloopers. Hello. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and talk to myself. Hello, 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 Ryan.
Yo, Gazzy.